Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Can you tell me just your name and a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Yeah, for sure. So my name is Ryan Maoni. I'm working in the cannabis industry right now, mostly focused on research. My real aim is to really understand how we can get a product to a consumer that is accurately what we're telling them it is. So when we're dealing with edibles, a lot of the day or a lot of the time in this day and age, we're talking about absolutely absurd numbers. You see pretty commonly about 100 or 120 milligrams of THC in an edible, which is realistically an absurd amount for somebody to consume. And on top of that, it's really difficult to control that experience, to really understand that if I'm giving you this product, whether I'm giving it to you or somebody else, it's going to consistently be the same thing, and it's going to be a replicable experience. So that's kind of where my big focus is. I do see a big future in not only cannabinoids that we're talking about nowadays, like THC and CBD. I think that's really just at the forefront to bring to attention people's minds of what this plant is really doing in our bodies. But realistically, it's the vast array of compounds in cannabis outside of CBD and THC, the terpenes and all of the other cannabinoids present that are the true medicinal value in the plant. And I think slowly as we work towards a recreational market, we're stepping back a little bit in some senses, because they really aren't focusing too much on how these compounds interacting synergistically in your body together, right? So yeah, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Nice. So you said research. What does that look like?
So over the past couple of years, mostly it's in the culinary side of things. I started making edibles just for my own personal recreation with my friends. And I'm the type of individual who really likes to iterate on things I do. If I'm going to make a batch of brownies or Rice Krispies, I'm going to make it better the next time.
Yeah.
Like, it's not going to be the same, right? So slowly over time, I started to recognize, like, sometimes we would make a batch of edibles and it would be way more potent than the last batch. And it honestly brought on a really uncomfortable experience. I couldn't bring these edibles to somebody that might not be interested in smoking and tell them to eat one of these and have a reasonable experience. It really wasn't that direction. So I started to think a lot more about and do some testing in my own life about how we could incorporate these medicines more naturally into our lives with a more consistent experience. And what I really found through that process was you really got to look at a few different things. Number one is when you're consuming it orally, it's going through a different system in your body. Like, you're actually dealing with your digestive system as opposed to your respiratory system. So when you inhale cannabis and you spark that joint, you smoke some weed, that lighting that joint is a combustion reaction. You're lighting it on fire, and it's activating the THC and CBD and other compounds. So what's actually going to be active in your body is a compound called Delta-9 THC. And that's why they coined the famous Delta-9 Delta-9 brand. But when you consume it orally in edibles, it actually gets digested in the liver in a different way, and because of that, you're not actually going to get the same experience.
Yeah.
And on top of that, it gets even more complex because it really involves a lot of other things, like how is your individual microbiome? How do you digest food?
Yeah.
What kind of fat is it in? Is it in saturated or non-saturated fat? Are we what kind of like health conditions do you have? How does your body deal with fast to begin with? Did you eat something before or after? It's a very complex situation, yeah. And I think it's really a valuable thing what the government did in taking a step back on the edibles and extracts, so that we can, because realistically, while there are some methods to do it accurately, and I've been developing some clever tricks to accurately and consistently give people that experience. There are ways to do it, but realistically, the science isn't there on how these compounds are affecting your body when you ingest them
Yeah.
orally. So it's a good step, I think, in the long run
Yeah.
for the consumer and also for the producers. People might not feel that way right now,
Yeah.
myself included. There's a side of me. I have been developing these standard practices for using cannabis in a commercial kitchen, but there's no way for me to realistically get that to market, right? So that is frustrating, but at the same time, I very much understand, and I actually really value the way that they took that, because when we do get a product to the consumer, it's going to be a much more quality product, a much more consistent product, and it also, I think a big proponent is the market right now realistically doesn't know what safe consumption looks like when you're dealing with edible products. So there's a whole aspect of it to that. Like, even if the people producing this are able to produce in a manner that is safe and consistent, the general public really doesn't understand how these compounds are working in your body. So that is a little bit of my play on that, I guess.
Cool. So after that research concludes, will you guys be like making and selling your own edibles, or will you be like giving that information to other LPs?
Yeah. So I do have a dream of one day owning my own edible brand. I'm quite young. I'm only 21 years old, and because of that, I do have some limiting factors in my life that might not make that a reality on my own.
Yeah.
But I am looking at, there's a number of different companies emerging in the license market right now that I'm working with to maybe see if we can do some sort of an acquisition deal, or maybe work towards actually getting a quality product to that consumer.
Yeah.
Right now, it's really just a matter of who is doing something that I really see value in, and not in the 1 or 2 years. I'm looking 5 to 10 years how we can really build a holistic lifestyle for people around this, because it's not just these cannabinoids that we all talk about. Like it's great to on a weekend get that high and be stoned with your buddies, eat some chips, whatever it may be, right? But at the end of the day, the plant is so much more than that. It has very valuable fiber. It has very valuable protein. Lots of essential fatty acids and oils and things that all together with these cannabinoids and with these terpenes can be used to and can be integrated into your life and used in a way to build a holistic lifestyle. And I did a little presentation earlier on infused honey, and what I was really trying to do with that was not teach people how to get high by eating honey. That wasn't the goal. It was really to introduce the concept to people that some of these compounds that we're finding a lot of value in cannabis have other sources in nature. So pinene is a good example of one. There's some research been put out recently about how pinene can change the amnesia-like effects that you get from high doses of THC, which is really valuable information, right? And pinene isn't only found in cannabis, right? So if we're gonna in an edible market, and a lot of people don't see it this way, but edibles are extracts. It's the same thing. We're just extracting it, and we're just administering it in a different way. But if we're able to not only put something like THC distillate in this edible, but we're also able to combine it with these different terpene compounds, that is what I see of value. And so what I really wanted to push there with the infused honey was, it's probably not cost effective to infuse the flavor of cannabis into honey, right? If you get a really, really high terpene content bud, it can taste great, and I will attest to that. But it's probably more worth your time to grate some or shave some orange peel off of an orange or lemon, and incorporate that, infuse that into the honey, and then consume that along with your cannabis, because you're consuming the basically the essential oils from that peel of the lemon or the lime or the orange or whatever it may be, the oils from the pine needles or the vanilla bean pods, the lavender,
Yeah.
whatever it may be, and you can use those to actually change the experience you're having with cannabis, which can be very, very powerful because while THC does have a lot of medical value, like realistically, if you're consuming THC distillate, for example, for an extended period of time, you're going to overload those receptors, and while you're trying to build a stable state of balance in your body.
Yeah.
That's really what the endocannabinoid system is about. It's finding that homeostasis, the balance between all those other systems in your body. You're actually going to be putting yourself further out of balance by doing that. So it's really at looking like what is seriously in these products that I'm consuming.
Yeah.
And while they have had proven medical benefit, are they benefiting me medically?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Or maybe they are, but maybe I could be using them in a more intelligent way.
Yeah.
So right now, you had asked in the future of where that research goes, but for right now, what it is really is focusing on education.
Yeah.
There's this brand, Show the Prairie, that myself and my good friend Carlos spearheaded here. And we started doing workshops. We're doing cannabis workshops. We have 3 built. The first one is Introduction to Cannabis. It basically just a guideline on like the difference between recreation and medical, the different anatomical parts of the plant, what we're really looking for in the plant, the different methods of processing it.
Yeah.
Basically information for people to safely be able to traverse through this market that is really full of anecdotal evidence.
Right.
The second one is a more in-depth look at the phytocompounds or the phytochemicals and other compounds in cannabis. So we'll be going over the cannabinoids, the terpenes that have actually been scientifically studied, and kind of deal a little bit more with that. And then the third one, which I'm thinking of doing digitally, is on the bioavailability of ingesting cannabis orally, which I'm going to do that one digitally because I'm not sure if anybody wants to sit down and hear me talk about that for 3 hours.
Yeah.
But again, like I started off, it's really valuable to understand like it's hitting your body from a fully different system, so it's going to affect you differently.
Right.
Yeah. So education, I think, is going to play the most important role on because the licensed producers can produce this as accurately and consistently as they want, but if the consumers don't know how to consume it properly, it's going to be an absolute gong show, right?
And like, well, I think it might be different with edibles, but the bud that you buy at a dispensary, it's like, okay, it has like 17 to 23% THC. That's a big range, you know what I mean? So like, that'll affect, like, depending on where it actually hits in that range, it'll affect you differently, right?
Yeah.
So what has the reaction to this education been like so far?
I get a lot of wide-eyed stares because I use a lot of big words.
Yeah.
But realistically, it's been nothing but positivity, and it's been really, really beautiful. Actually, I've been able to kind of plant the seeds of this knowledge in people's minds and actually talk to them months later and see how it's actually affected their consumption and affected the way that they look at the plant as a whole. Because what the consumer sees is the flower, you know, or the extract. They see the end product, but a lot of us really don't appreciate the value of this plant. A little bit of, I mean, the history of cannabis can be contested. There's many different models that have been built, but one thing we do know is it spread itself across this planet thousands of years ago, which is pretty incredible if you think about it, right? And there's a reason for that. And using that information, we can start to digest the value of why that might have happened. If you look at different locations in the world that it slowly had time to acclimatize itself, like maybe Southern Africa or places in Europe, South America, these different things that we call landrace strains. Those people were processing that cannabis in a very specific way for very specific reasons. If you look at Lebanon, You know,
like the Afghan strains. And
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, they produce a lot of hash there, and they did that for a reason, because traditionally they use cannabis for its psychoactive components. You know, they use it for both spirituality and recreation. And you know, what's the best way to consume it? It's to make an extracted version of that product to beat off those resinous compounds, and then to just consume that. Why are we smoking all this flower? You know. Versus if you look maybe more South Asia or like Central Asia, it was harvested a lot more, or maybe even further eastward towards the Koreas. It was harvested a lot more for its fiber and for its actual like food properties. So like there's all these massive case studies of how this plant has been utilized for thousands of years that we're kind of ignoring, right? And we're really looking in the future as opposed to looking back. We're looking at how can I produce a new method of consumption? How can I really see how I can breed new strains of cannabis for new things that people want? But realistically, what we should be looking at and learning is from the traditional ways that these plants were used and using that in our innovation. Yeah.
So are there any differences between eating an edible and like ingest, like drinking a product like that? Yeah.
For sure, yeah, it does really matter. So it depends, first of all, what it's infused with, right? So if you're and what's very common to infuse things with right now is THC distillate, because it's very accurate and easy to dose. It's like, you know, if I want a gram of THC in an entire batch of drink, I can literally put a gram of liquid into that batch, and I know there's a gram of THC in it. Whereas with something like flower or even like a more full spectrum extract like rosin, it's a little bit more finicky to dose, especially because you're dealing with multitude of other things in that extract, like waxes and sugars and things. So you'll commonly see THC distillate, and it depends if that's infused into, like in the case of maybe brownies, as a very simple example, or I'll use chocolate actually, because that's what I work with a lot. In chocolate, you're able to actually infuse those cannabinoids into the fat in the chocolate, right? The cocoa butter. Whereas a lot of the time, a drink, you might not be able to do that. There's this patent in the U.S. patent framework where they use powders, typically maltodextrin, and they'll combine it with THC distillate, which is a liquid, it's viscous. And when they combine those two, it actually creates a powdered substance that they can incorporate into the drink, right? So the thing that's really important to look at there is, first of all, I'm going to say we don't know the difference of how it affects you. There's not a lot of clinical study on that. But we do know that it will affect you differently because it's back to the concept of what I was saying with, depends on the fat. Is it a saturated fat or non-saturated fat? What did you eat and how is your microbiome doing? And on top of that, what else is in that, right? If you have an orange flavored drink and you're using a natural orange oil in that flavoring, you're going to have a lot more limonene in there, right? Because that's naturally found in oranges. And like I was saying, limonene affects how you experience cannabis. So there's so many variables that like, it just gets so complex. There's almost no real answer at this point. So it's almost I think the direction it needs to go is to start off at least is to try and find a specific experience that we're looking for. You know, we want people to consistently be able to experience this in our product. And we tailor our product to that experience that we're trying to get for them. And that will start the foundation for research on this, is what I see, for actual proper clinical research. Because we're not going to be able to just open the floodgates and study how all these compounds interact with each other. It's like, it's really, really complicated. And it's really a matter of giving a case study. You know, like we're able to produce this product this way, and it consistently gives this experience, and here's why, right? And from that basis and from that case study, you can start to extrapolate, and you can start to do more research on other compounds that are maybe working synergistically. and it plays into realistically every medical market, whether it's cancer research or whether it's simply dealing with anxiety and depression. You know, and I think what we're going to see in the future is a big push for non-psychoactive components of these plants, where maybe you're consuming THCA instead of THC, right? And you're not getting that stone from it, but you're still getting a lot of medical benefit.
Yeah.
I know a gentleman with Crohn's disease, and he juices live plants, so he can consume a really, really high concentration of these cannabinoids without having to be in bed, like literally zonked, right?
Yeah.
And what that is doing is it's really helping his body find a state of balance, right?
Yeah.
But he's not. In some ways, the psychoactive effects of THC are a real bonus, but in some ways they're almost the downside. And I really do see that we're going to see. I do predict that we're going to see a shift towards products that you can consume on a regular basis, incorporate into a full holistic lifestyle, but not be focused on getting that stone. It will still, those products will still be available, and they are very valuable.
Yeah.
And that psychoactive component is not to be dismissed, but there are other applications of this. And again, I'm going to stress back on using that whole plant. It's not really just about the cannabinoids and the terpenes. It's about all of these different proteins, fats, fibers, everything you can find in this plant. You can incorporate into healthy diet, and not only that, but you can, through incorporating that, you can educate people on how they can use other products safely and incorporate them healthily in a healthy portion into their diet, or healthy position in their diet, I should say. So that's where I see the actual future of this going, and that's kind of where I'm pushing my research towards. So yeah, I'm currently working on, and I'm very, very close to creating a very, very consistent, scalable, edible product that you're going to be able to have a consistent experience on, using a wider variety of compounds. And my plan through that is to really educate people on and open their minds to the fact that, you know, it's not simple.
Right.
It really is. You need to, the same way you need to put time into how you lay out your phone with the background on the screen. It's, you know, especially if you're using these compounds daily, the same way that you're using your phone daily is gonna affect how you interact with the world. So so using that in as safe and healthy of a manner as possible is really important.
So you mentioned using all of the other compounds of the plant, like the fibers and stuff. What would that look like for somebody who is just getting into it?
So really good question there. You could start by incorporating things like hulled hemp seeds, which are commonly known as hemp hearts. That's actually not the real name for them. That's a trademark name by Magical Harvest. But what you can start doing is incorporating things like hemp hearts. Start incorporating, you know, maybe instead of using olive oil, you use hemp oil in your kitchen. Substituting things that you're already using. Looking at maybe ways that cannabis, or not even just cannabis, but other alternatives could be healthier for you, right? Really, really just like the best way to start that is to assess what you're consuming on a daily basis, whether it's food, whether it's drinks, whether it's caffeine, whatever it may be, and look for, okay, well, you know, I am consuming a lot of caffeine. Is there any way that I could use something else to kind of mitigate the negative effects of that, or maybe something else that maybe I am consuming an edible with THC distillate because it's available, and it's a consistent way for me to consume cannabis. Maybe when you're doing that, you can incorporate other terpene infusions like the infused honey into that diet, or even it's as simple as supporting that market, like really, really being vocal about the fact that this can impact your life, not hesitating to buy something because it has a cannabis leaf and you're concerned about maybe your children or something getting a hold of it. Like, normalize legalizing it in your household is a big one as well. Maybe not the psychoactive components. I'm a firm believer, but more so like if you consistently consume supplements like protein supplements, choosing a healthier alternative like something from a cannabis plant is a really, really good way to do something like that. And in the future, like I'd like to make a product that really does pull in every aspect of that cannabis plant and really can be incorporated into your diet in a healthy manner to get people to think of ways that you could incorporate this a little bit better. But it's really just about getting out there, looking at what is available to you, and seeing is there a way I could substitute something that I'm already using in life for this.
How does cannabis kind of fit into a well-rounded lifestyle?
Good question. I think the first thing is that not everyone needs it, realistically.
That's a good point.
And just because it has a lot of medical benefit and just because a lot of people do consume it doesn't mean it's for everyone. I know a lot of people who are very mentally unstable on cannabis and therefore don't use it. And in that scenario, other drugs might have more benefit for them, right? So step one is really assessing like, is this is this something I even need, or is it something that I'm just using as fluff in my life? And from there you can go and look at, okay, how am I consuming? Like I smoke a bunch of weed. I smoke, let's say, 2 or 3 joints a day, but I have asthma. Like, does that make sense? So maybe I can consume it differently because maybe it is helping me. Back to the supplements thing. Like you're making, let's say, 1 or 2 protein shakes a day to get higher levels of protein into your diet. Well, maybe look like is that type of protein that I'm ingesting the best type of protein I can ingest? Is it from an ethically stable source? Am I promoting a good community? It really is a question of the individual and seeing like, what do I do on a daily basis, and is there actually room for this in my life to improve my life, as opposed to use it in a manner of partying or use it in a manner of any type of social aspect or just because it's kind of hype. It's like, understanding there can be a lot of benefit from it is important, but also understanding is there benefit for me is really important, right? And a big thing that I think a lot of people don't do is open up the conversation with their doctor. Like maybe your licensed physician or your family doctor might not be open to the concept of cannabis right off the hop, but if it's helped you, like there's no way they're going to deny that to you. And if they do, you probably need a new doctor. Like that person is not considered or not considering your
well-being,
your health as a whole, right? Like you're coming to them, literally telling them like, I've had positive impacts in my life. I can show you that. How can we actually use this better? Consulting physicians, consulting people that you see consuming it and being highly functioning individuals, because there are people in the community that are very high functioning individuals who are using these products regularly, and looking at how they're using it is a really valuable tool as well. Looking at, it's very easy to especially from somebody in my position who has a large network and easy access to getting things like distillate and these extracted compounds, whereas somebody might not have that, or maybe not be able to afford it. So then it's a matter of, okay, well, how can I educate myself on using this flower that I can get a hold of or grow in the best way possible, right? Not just tossing it in the oven and doing whatever you can with it. Not just smoking it because that's the easiest way, right? Also thinking like, asking yourself when you sit down either at that dab rig or at the bar, do I need this one, right? Like, maybe I consumed 20 minutes ago and I actually don't. But it's because socially we're going out for a smoke. It's the same thing. And giving yourself that self-control is a big one as well. Kind of just like actually taking a step back, observing how you're using this and what else you're doing in life, and seeing how you can change it for the better. It's really what it boils down to.
You're 21, I'm 21. Why do you think it's so important to have young people in like the new legal cannabis
sure, yeah. Really, really important. I'm going to say just as important, equally as important as having the older generation around. We have a lot that we can learn from the older generation. There's many gardeners and people who have been working with this substance medically for decades. You know, that I've talked to, and they have anecdotal evidence or they have information. They've been doing it for 15, 20 years like this because it works the best for them, right? But somebody that's young and maybe has a different perspective and a clear slate and a clean slate coming into this with a lot less bias, we have a much more stable way to then take those older traditional methods of using this medicine and assess them in a more modern day clinical approach. As well as if you look at the position Canada's in right now, we have a lot of culturally displaced people, and our generation is in a very interesting position because a large portion of us comes from a position where maybe our parents or our grandfathers were displaced because of war or even because of colonization, you know? And that really disrupted culture, and we're through the advancements of technology, we're slowly blending all of our cultures, and the beauty of that is that we're held back a lot less by our cultural restraints. We might not have a deeply religious, or maybe we're not as likely to have a deeply religious perspective on drug use, you know, because it's been somewhat normalized in our lives. So I think it really is just like a valuable clean slate to work off of, because a lot of these people who do have valuable information have been working on this for a very, very long time also have very strong biases because they've been wronged by a lot of people along that way. And because of that, that affects the way that they interact with the community, it affects the way that they portray their information, and it affects the way that they write people off. You know, a lot of the time, especially being so young, I am fairly knowledgeable on this stuff, and a lot of the time, until I really get talking, people write me off very easily. And then when they start actually listening to what you have to say, being a younger individual, while they have a vast amount of information and experiential information to teach us with, we have really, really interesting perspectives to teach them with, because our education has changed a lot over time as well, right? I think it really, we need to blend the two. And I think people our generation might not be looking at the value of the older generation because it's old school, they don't have as much of a modern scientific understanding of these things. And I think they write us off a lot because we're so focused on new innovation. I want to do it differently than everyone else, that we're kind of writing off their old ways, so they're writing us off. So it's like we need to really, really focus on building that community again and all working collaboratively.
So obviously cannabis as medicine is very important, but what role can other plants play?
Oh yeah, there's many different plants. It's as simple as, like I was saying, pine needles, all the way to mushrooms like lion's mane. You touch on the topic of psychedelic mushrooms. There's lots of value, and I think one thing that's coming up with cannabis and is really, really valuable with cannabis is that it's introducing us to this concept of traditional medicines actually having some sort of validity, And a lot of people don't recognize that the pharmaceuticals that we actually purchase from these pharmaceutical companies, the vast majority of them come from plant compounds and fungal compounds. So they're biosynthesizing these out of pre-existing compounds, and how do they find those synthetic versions of the compound? They looked at traditional uses of medicine, like willow bark as an anti-inflammatory and pain reliever. They looked at that and they saw, okay, it's got some nasty side effects though, like maybe we can find the compound that's doing this, extract it, and see if it has those negative side effects still, which it did. So then they created a synthetic version of it that basically Advil that you can buy over the counter nowadays, that has less side effects, And I think we're going to see that a lot with cannabis and the medical use of cannabis. Is we're going to see these traditional medicines being brought up. We're going to understand, okay, well this class of compounds can really really be used to treat these ailments.
Yeah.
But some of them, like, you can consume just THC, like I was talking about, you're gonna have some negative side effects.
Yeah.
So how can we maybe alter those compounds, or how can we use the other compounds in the plant to mitigate those effects? And it's interesting. There's very little, almost no medicine or compounds that have actually had a case study where they've been tested on the entire world outside of fluoride. Fluoride is really the only thing, but cannabis is close.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not everybody's consumed it, but you know, it's hit every corner of the world, in very, very powerful ways. So I think, yeah, it really brings back to, for example, in Mesoamerica, the use, or even like southern United States, like Texas, New Mexico kind of area, the use of peyote cactus, or which contains mescaline, the use of psilocybin mushrooms, or the use of things like that might be a little bit more intense, like salvia, but these cultures were using these medicines for a reason. You know, and not only that, they were using them in specific ways for specific reasons. They might not have had the understanding of the scientific perspective or the clinical perspective that we do nowadays, but they saw that it was benefiting their community. They looked at how they could use it in a way to benefit their community the most, have the most net positive impact. And a lot of the time that actually, when you're dealing with psychedelics specifically, you see them doing it in communal forms, because you know, and that's another big thing that you could touch on with these plant medicines is mental health. You know, the mental health rates and suicide rates are every day on the rise. And I think slowly, as we start to see that actually become a problem, you know, as maybe our generation slowly progresses into life and hits that midlife crisis stage, you know, maybe suicide rates will unfortunately even crawl higher. But what we can learn from those traditional plant medicines is that you need to be able to open your mind, and you need to be able to do that in a communal way. You can't open your mind to learn new things for yourself and to benefit. You know, that's really, really net negative. You need to band together with community, and you really need to work on these problems together. And I think that the value in psychedelics and just traditional entheogens, I'll use that blanket term entheogens because it's not just psychedelics. There's so many medicinal plants. Even alcohol has been used medicinally, and like the culture that formed around alcohol historically is really impressive. Like it went through its own prohibition in North America, and similar to cannabis, you saw massive communities of people that, you know, really were feeling strongly about that substance and wanted to push it forwards. Now, maybe you could argue the health aspects of alcohol or the medicinal aspects of alcohol, but what it boils down to is the use. You know, again, back to cannabis, how are you using these? You know, there's use and there's abuse. And it's a very fine line when you're dealing with substances that are naturally produced in the environment and that we might not know a lot about. So we're going to see, and we are seeing clinical studies of things like psilocybin now kind of moving forwards. But one issue I see is that they're not really looking to the traditional aspects of how these medicines were used and trying to incorporate that into their modern use of them. When realistically, maybe we don't need to do it, like do ayahuasca in the Amazon rainforest in an environment where we're pretty much in the bush. You know, maybe we could do it in a safer place. But there's technology we can incorporate in a clinical sense, like maybe virtual reality, where you can bring somebody to an environment like that. Because, you know, who wants to do some mushrooms and sit in a therapist's office in a clinical sense, you know, like just talking through the problems? Like that's not how these substances were used historically, and that's not how these substances are used even in recreational culture nowadays.
It's not
you
meant
know?
to be used that way.
Especially when things are unregulated. The general population tends to use them in certain ways, and there's reasons for that, you know, and really, really valuable to study that and how it can be applied in a clinical sense. as opposed to just like studying the interactions of these compounds in our brain. Like, because it's great if you can replicate those interactions in the brain, but like if you can't like replicate the experience for someone, that's you're really like not getting to the end goal, right? Maybe looking at how the interactions of these compounds are functioning in our brain is an important step to get to that end goal, but it's not the end goal, right? So I think we're going to see an influx of people looking at it's you can find mushrooms in the forest in Manitoba that have medicinal value, like chaga, right? And you know, like, you can go to the store and buy that for an absurd amount of money, but it's literally outside. Like, you can go harvest that. I also, saying you can harvest that, I want to stress, like, maybe you should harvest it responsibly. Like, probably don't just go out and cut down all the chaga you see on trees, but it's really important to look at. I'm talking a lot about the culture of these substances, and if you look at what happened through the whole psychedelic movement in the 60s and 70s counterculture, they destroyed a culture through creating that counterculture. They destroyed the traditional use of these substances in South America and Mesoamerica, and they really like commercialized it, and you see that happening with ayahuasca nowadays. And it's, I think, a valuable thing for people to look at is, okay, this medicine has value for me, and I could have a great experience if I go down to Peru and I do an ayahuasca ceremony. I've seen other people that have done it, and it's had a positive impact on their life. But is that best for me to do, or are there other things that maybe I could, that are closer to home, and I don't need to travel so far, and I don't need to disrupt an entire culture to actually get there? You know, like, and I don't want to vocally or publicly promote the use of illegal substances, but something like psychedelic mushrooms or psilocybin-containing mushrooms grow in Canada. Maybe not in Manitoba, but you know, like throughout Ontario, throughout predominantly on the coasts. But you can find these things locally, and it's just a matter of seeing not only what medicine can help me, but what medicine locally can help me. You know, and I think another big thing we're gonna hopefully see, at least in part of the industry, is BC produces some great cannabis, and you see in the illicit markets, you see a lot of BC grown cannabis. But think about how far that had to travel to get here. The amount of hands it had to pass through, the amount of logistics involved with that, right? We can grow good cannabis here, and we do grow good cannabis here. We're an agricultural province. Why are we importing this? You know, we need to empower our community and empower the people locally who are producing these things, and actually integrate those products into our lifestyle, right? Because the indigenous populations, wherever you may be, whether it's in Europe, whether it's in Canada, like anywhere in North America, they use these natural medicines that were locally available, and they adjusted the use of those natural medicines to what they needed. You know, I think what I'm trying to get at here is cannabis is really opening the doors for us to look at the possibilities of more clinical use of traditional medicines as opposed to very isolated compounds.
Do you think that because the government passed cannabis legalization that they will start looking into the use of other plant medicines?
That's a really hard one. I hope so. I don't know if it's going to be the government itself or someone private. It really, I guess, depends on what province you're in right now. Like, Manitoba is an interesting spot because we both have the public sector and the private sector putting in effort. If you go somewhere like Quebec, where it's all public, you know, there's probably less room for that innovation. Because there's only the public sector to push it, and there's nobody in that public sector really saying, like, hey, let's look at some of these other medicines, you know, or let's look at the way that these are interacting together. It's really the private sector that's pushing that, and I do see them maybe allowing for the floodgates to open to that in very specific ways. I'm personally hoping for some form of decriminalization of drugs, and like Portugal's a beautiful case study for that. They decriminalized drugs across the board, because they had massive rates of HIV skyrocketing. And geographically, they're very close to Morocco, so you have a lot of things like hash and other drugs coming up from Morocco. So you had a large drug problem, and the population was suffering because of this. Education was suffering, the criminal system was suffering. They were wasting all these resources, they realized, so they're like, well, how about we decriminalize these substances? It's still illegal to sell. Like, you can't go and sell cocaine on the street. But if you're caught with a small amount of cocaine, you're not then a criminal. They're going to focus more on education. And if you get caught a handful of times, or maybe 2 or 3 times, they're going to put those resources that they might have been putting to send you to jail into rehabilitation or into education, so that you can actually progress with your life and move forward. And not only that, but then build your community and build a stronger support system in your community for people who might be suffering with those compounds, right?
Yeah.
Whether it be heroin or cocaine or cannabis or whatever it may be, right? And legalization for cannabis is a good step because it is opening these doors and it's a very profitable market.
Yeah.
But I think decriminalization for other substances is really what's valuable.
I think so too, and like it's interesting because I'm not necessarily sure that the government took like a public health approach to legalization of cannabis, right? Like, and I think legalizing other plant medicines would be a public health approach, because it does help people with like mental health issues and all those other things, but also like again, it's just to have it regulated is a good idea.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it is really, really good to do that. I think either way, this is a renaissance.
Yeah.
It's a renaissance period, and whatever way it goes, whether we figure out that actually it's ibogaine, it's not psilocybin, actually it's MDMA. They just passed the, I believe, phase 2 or maybe phase 3 clinical trials of MDMA,
right,
or published those, I guess.
Yeah.
Which is really, really a step forward because they did follow the clinical procedures through all of that, and it actually got, and I'm gonna potentially misspeak here, but it got fast-tracked essentially through, or is getting fast-tracked through the FDA as a medical compound because they saw the profound benefit it can have for these patients with PTSD. And I think other compounds like LSD and psilocybin are going to be further researched for these benefits. Even another great case study is Silicon Valley. Like, Steve Jobs was vocal about his LSD use, and pretty much the rest of Silicon Valley really vocalized, or is vocally advertising that they have heavy psychedelic use, and that's really what they're founding their innovation on, and is really pushing them forwards. Now, whether or not they're doing it in an inherently net positive way is up to the individual to consider. And that, I guess, boils down to the companies who have this power and who are really, really holding the cards at the end of the day. But at the end of the day, like, that's not something to scoff at. They're the portion of this world that is really driving technological innovation, which is undeniably changing on a global scale everybody's lives. And clearly psychedelics have played a role in that, which is something very, very interesting. Now, I again don't want to advocate necessarily for the use of these, and I don't necessarily think that it's always the right way or everybody needs these, but there have definitely been scenarios where they're valuable.
Right.
Yeah, similar with cannabis. Not everybody needs it, but like, there are circumstances where it's a very, very valuable thing to consider.
So what is one thing that you would want people to kind of take away from this about plant medicine, not just cannabis, but plant medicine itself?
Yeah, I would say one thing to consider is independence. Now, if you have an ailment that's going to be affecting you for the rest of your life, or maybe it won't, but you're put in this bucket. Let's say you're diagnosed with ADHD. Right? You're put in this bucket. Now, let's say you're 14, 15 years old, right? For the rest of your life, you're in that bucket of having ADHD, right? And you're going to be consuming some sort of medication for ADHD for the rest of your life. And there are clearly negative side effects to that, right? So plant medicines also kind of plays into just health in general, because it's not only medicine in the fact that you take the substance and it retroactively helps you with an ailment.
Yeah.
It's also about preventative measures, right? And building up that strong microbiome, building up good health in general, being physical. And plants and natural products, I'll say, are a really, really good method of getting there and incorporating that into your life, because they've been used for so long, thousands of years. You know, that substance that you might be taking for your ADHD might have only been like produced in the last couple decades, maybe even within your life if you're a little bit older. And that alone is really important to consider. If I'm taking this compound that, you know, is a relatively new compound, and I'm consistently introducing this into my system, what other systems in my body is that affecting? Why am I getting these negative side effects? You know, should I be taking them? Should I maybe talk to my doctor about those and see if there's any way I can counteract or mitigate those? Because inherently it might be a net positive. You might find that you're able to focus on things a lot more, and you're able to function as a normal member of society better. But you're still experiencing these negative side effects. And I think a lot of the time it's a more balanced approach that needs to be taken, as opposed to sometimes the clinical setting will just push these isolated compounds on you. And realistically, it's about, and cannabis is a big component of this, but it's about balance in your body. It's not about fixing or retroactively affecting one thing that's causing you trouble. It's about, okay, well, that's causing me trouble. I got a lot of anxiety, but like, what is the real root cause of that? You know, like, maybe it's because I'm overweight, or maybe it's because I really am not eating healthy, and because of that, like, your microbiome directly affects your mental health, and that has been clinically shown, right? So maybe it's literally just because you're eating garbage. Like, it's a plethora of things, but in every aspect of that, plants and plant medicines and natural products like that play a role in balancing your body, and they have for thousands of years. We've evolved alongside them. And another one last thing before we maybe wrap up here a little bit, I want to touch on is when you're incorporating these things into a healthy diet, it's also very important to touch on, you know, where your family history is from. You know, my one side of my family is from the Mediterranean, Italy specifically, and the other side is from Ukraine, Russia, and Germany, kind of. The borders were very, very unstable during World War II, but you know, kind of from that region. So looking at that, I can kind of assess, okay, well, what did they eat for hundreds of years in my family being there, and what is my actual genetic makeup used to consume it?
That's a good point.
It's you know, cured meats and high fat creams and things like that. Lots of potatoes and starches, or fish from the Mediterranean, fish and salts. There you go. So just that alone is a good start. You know, looking at, okay, well, like, where am I from? Are these, like, how can I build a healthy diet? And then when you are building that healthy diet, look at natural products. Don't look at maybe not don't look at, but just don't write off the natural forms of these, because, you know, humans are alive. Like, we've used these things to cure ourselves and treat ourselves for thousands of years. So that's my bit.
That's all I had. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, pretty much that's. You guys can come check out my workshop. You can get in contact with Generation Green, or email me shieldedprairie@gmail.com. We are focusing on educational content, like I said. If you ever have any questions about anything, just, like, feel free to give us a shout.
All right, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thank you very much.